We're here for our Monday Night Raw review for November the 7th, 2022. After a week being off, just needed a break for myself a little bit. We are here on the road to to Survivor Series War Games. And tonight, we have two things. One, Austin Theory is no longer Mr. Money in the Bank. What do you mean by that? Did Roman Reigns make an appearance? Did he fail his Money in the Bank briefcase cash in? Or did someone beat him for it? Well, it's one of those things. Roman's not here, of course, but he did fail his Money in the Bank briefcase cash in. And oh boy, does it make him look like a fucking idiot. Also, Nick Cross wins the 24/7 championship and deliberately tries to throw it away in the trash. Missing the trash can completely, but hopefully ending the 24/7 championship belt for once and for all. Because let's be honest, that thing needed to be out of the way a long time ago. Also, the Bloodline was here, minus Sami Zayn, who was MIA still for some reason, and Roman, of course. And the Usos and the New Day, which will have a match on Friday, go back and forth with this awesome back and forth promo that was just hitting another level, and then Matt Riddle came out and ruined it. Plus, of course, like I said, won the 24/7 championship. We have the OC somebody finding the OC to help them with their Rhea Ripley problem. And this crowd in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, fucking sucks. My God, what was with the crowd tonight? Well, Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Now, I hope that WWE would do this little thing called scouting these areas that they go to over the next 6 months or so, and they go to an arena. If the crowd is dead, don't go there for a show. Don't go there for a pay-per-view. Don't go there for a Raw and SmackDown. You want to go there for a house show? That's fine. You don't go here for a Monday Night Raw. You had the return of somebody tonight who has been reported up until Friday that they would possibly be coming back. And they come back, and the crowd didn't really seem to care. You had the stuff with Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley comes out. He doesn't get that big of a run. Obviously, the only one who got any type of reaction tonight was Seth Rollins in the main event spot, where he talked about being 10 years of Seth Rollins. Not 10 years of the Shield, but 10 years since Seth Rollins has been in WWE, which, that's cool and all, but it's like, why are we sitting here listening to this crowd just not even care about next to anything? So, it's like Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania should be a house show only loop, and that is it. They need to never be allowed to have a Raw or SmackDown. If you're going to come out giving us this kind of reaction, like, the show could have been a little bit better, I guess you can say that. It was okay, the jet lag and whatever, but it's still real simple like this. If you come into these shows and you have a hot, raunchy, rowdy crowd who are out there cheering for everything, a 3-hour show is going to go by fast. This show drug and drug and drug on. It was not even funny how long this thing took. My goodness. So, we started out with the Bloodline. They say they're in Wilkes-Barre. Jay brags about the Bloodline's win at Crown Jewel before Jay addresses the New Day. He says that Friday, they will become the longest reigning tag team champions in WWE history. Well, you'll stop your last challenger before you become the longest reigning tag team champions in WWE history. You still get another 4 or 5 days after the fact. This is the New Day 2, and they are the ones. Out come the New Day and they head to the ring. Kingston says they're getting ahead of themselves before Woods asked them how they're doing. He says that in 4 days on SmackDown, and the New Day came out and they weren't even being joking and jovial. They were just serious, cool, calm, collected. They know how important that tag team record is. Like, WWE made a huge deal back when they broke this record, which was Demolition's tag team record on a different set of tag team titles. But they came out here, and you could just tell that this wasn't a time to joke. This wasn't a time to play games. They needed to come out here and just say their piece and get ready for Friday night. He says they've already gave their props and recognizes their accomplishments. He says they're proud of them. He says it must feel good to be the second best tag team in WWE. Wood says they fail to remember that they still hold the record, therefore the Usos are chasing them. He says the people coddled them and got them their triumphs based on who their family did. Finley did before them. While he and Kofi built their legacies themselves, Jimmy says they have no idea the pressure they've been under. Wood says they don't know nothing about pressure and lists the hardships they've been through. Says the pressure they've been under turned them into diamonds. Jimmy mocks him and says that this is real. They're the real kings with the crowns. He tells Kingston to stay at home with his kids so they can do what they do. Kingston asks what kind of father he would be if he went home to his kids, forfeiting the match. He says the Usos don't get the reign means to them, and explains that they had to scratch and claw their way to the top. He says the record represents a time they were at a hole, probably the last time that the New Day will ever actually be whole, and they will not forfeit their record to them. And then Matt Riddle's music hit, and I'm like, why, Trips? Why are you ruining this great moment? These two teams are going at each other. You could have had the Usos and Solo, who was there with them, beat down the New Day, and then Matt Riddle come out. But no, you had to have Matt Riddle come out to ruin this great segment. He says he didn't mean to interrupt and asks Woods to join his band with Elias. Jimmy tells him to shut up, and Riddle says that he should sit back and relax with the bong. He offers the bongos to New Day to hit, and they do. He does the same for the Usos. Jimmy obliges Jay to slaps it away. Riddle says no man slaps his bongo and says since they two teams of 3 men, they should have a 6-man tag team match up next. Ugh. So good. They were doing so good with this entire thing. And then Matt Riddle had to come out and ruin the entire thing. It was great. Like, just hearing how, like, the New Day, for the first time in probably a very long time, serious, cool, calm, collected demeanors. They didn't go out here cracking jokes and everything. They were talking to these guys about how much they've had to go through trying to make this trio of New Day work, coming out for the first time and getting booed, even though they worked their asses off to get it done. The New Day just going over the trials and tribulations they've had to go through. The Usos going over the fact that, yeah, they might be from a wrestling dynasty, but they've had to work their asses off to even be accepted by their family to be where they're at. This was great, and then Matt Riddle came out and ruined it. Now, 6-man tag team match in New Day and Matt Riddle versus the Bloodline was fun. It was a 6-man tag team match. Still, you could have did this completely different. The fact that you let these guys go out there, give you a damn good promo only for Matt Riddle to come out thinking this was the appropriate time to come out after he hit some, like, did he go backstage, take a hit or two, and then go, man, I need to go out there and say something. No, this was not the time to do that. You had a great segment ruined by Matt Riddle for fuck all. The match was fine. The match was good. It was the Usos. It was the New Day. It was Matt Riddle. What can you say? All 6 men went out there. And, of course, Solo Sikoa was out there, too. But they all went out there, and they beat each other up. They had themselves a great match. A good match here. Solo tags in at the end of the match. He blind tags and then drops down to think Matt Riddle to let Matt Riddle believe that Jimmy was still the legal man. Jimmy takes the RKO. Solo comes in, hits the spinning solo, which is pretty much a spinning rock bottom. 2-3, and the Bloodline pick up the win. Which, obviously, I figured because this is WWE's thinking and everything, you would have Solo Sikoa or one of the Usos take the pinfall, so when we get to Friday, it'd be like, oh, well, the New Day have momentum. They're going to go out there and they have a chance to win, and then they get beat anyway, but they didn't do that. Do I think the New Day are going to win on Friday? Absolutely not. After break, here comes JBL. He asks what idiot decided to bring Raw to Wilkes Barre and rags on them before introducing Baron Corbin. And honestly, with the way the crowd was tonight, I have to agree with him. What idiot decided to bring Raw to Wilkes Barre, Pennsylvania, when this fucking crowd absolutely sucked? He comes out, and we get Cedric Alexander. We have ourselves a match here. Doesn't last very long. Cedric goes for a springboard or something through the ropes, and gets caught into the end of days for the 1-2-3 match. Maybe lasted 3 to 4 minutes, if that. Rollins comes out. We're gonna have a U.S. Championship Open Challenge. He's out. He says, "Who's it gonna be?" Out comes the Judgment Day. Finn Balor comes in the ring and says, I got a bone to pick with you. A few years ago, you cost me gold. speaking of the 2016 SummerSlam, where Finn Balor won the Universal Championship, the first person to win the Universal Championship, but destroyed him. But Seth Rollins threw him into the barricade, and that separated Finn Balor's shoulder, leading to him having to relinquish the title the next day. And now, 6 years later, mind you, 6 years later, now Finn Balor wants to have a bone to pick with Seth Rollins. He says he is going to cost him gold, and he's about to accept the challenge, but out comes the OC. Now, both teams are across the ring from each other. Seth Rollins in the middle, he just backs away and exits off. AJ Styles says, we've had to deal with this problem. But, this thing between us, the OC, and the Judgment Day is far from over. And, we still have a Rhea problem. It happened again at Crown Jewel. So, we have had a problem finding somebody to take care of Rhea Ripley. But that someone found us. We hear some kind of commotion out by, we're so focused in the ring. We hear commotion outside. And then, outside, we see a hooded figure with blue hair coming down over Rhea Ripley. Some people thought it was Sasha Banks. No, it wouldn't have made any sense here. Pulls the hood back. It's Mia Yim. Crowd didn't seem like... I don't know if it's the crowd. I need to have people at the Wilkes-Barre Arena tell me if you guys were really any louder than you were coming off on TV, because they could have the mics down for whatever reason, but the crowd didn't seem to give a shit. You could attribute this to a couple things. One, this crowd completely sucked. And two, the last time Mia Yim was in WWE, she was, Reckoning in Retribution. What was Reckoning, right? Right? One member of Retribution. And then when Retribution broke up, she disappeared and never got to do anything. I asked this question when it was reported that Mia Yim was coming back to WWE. It's like, why? Why would she want to go to WWE, where even back when she was in NXT, they did nothing with her? Does anybody remember anything memorable that Mia Yim did in NXT besides being a victim to Shayna Baszler? No, I can't remember a thing. She didn't have any major title feuds. She never even won a championship in NXT. Half the time it felt like they had her signed to a contract because they didn't want her going anywhere else. This was back when they were hoarding talent and not, releasing talent. And then she got fired not too long. I think it was at the same time Keith Lee got fired. They, of course, got married. She worked at Impact Wrestling for a few months. Got to, do all that again. And then she left Impact Wrestling and came back here. Now, I'm not saying, she should have, left Impact Wrestling and went to AEW because AEW's women's division is no better off. So let's be honest. WWE's and any AEW's women's divisions need work, and I don't think Mia Yim is going to be one of those people to make a WWE's women's division any better than it already is. Is she great? Maybe. I don't know. All I know is Mia Yim back. Don't really mind. It is what it is. I hope the best for her. I hope WWE and Triple H knows what they're doing, but it's like this women's division still. You've had Damage Control since SummerSlam. How good has Damage Control been? How well have they been booked since they've been together? It's poor, actually. Bayley's lost to Bianca Belair twice. The only memorable thing they've done is they won the tag team titles twice and beat Bianca Belair, Asuka, and Alexa Bliss at Clash at the Castle, and that was it. Everything else has been loss when it matters. And they've really brought in a lot of women back on Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw has gotten Bayley came back on Raw. They've got Alexa Bliss, they got Asuka, they didn't come back. Io Sky, Dakota Kai, Candice LeRae, and Mia Yim. 5 women right there. Then, of course, like I said, Asuka and Bianca and Alexa Bliss and Rhea Ripley. That's 9 women right there. SmackDown, it still feels like they got Zelina Vega and B-Fab. And anyone else? Anyone at all? Can't tell. So where does this go from here? No idea. So, Of course, they beat down the Judgment Day, and everyone gets left away. And the OC stands tall. Mia Yim has a kendo stick and does a little pose with it. So back from break, Kelly and Seth Rollins. Kelly asks what events that Justice Blake mean for his open challenge. He says that since he made a promise, the world will have to wait and see the answer who answered the call, and that'll be later tonight. Elias versus Otis. This match didn't last very long, and Elias got beat with the world's strongest slam after being distracted by Gable. What can you say? I guess they had to mention, oh, well, since Elias has been back, we haven't heard him play any music. Who cares? Again, Brian Sachs with the Judgment Day, and Balor says that the OC has only created more problems for themselves with no solutions. Damian says that the OC will always fall before Rhea says that she doesn't care who they bring in because no one can take her down. They walk away before Rhea Ripley encounters Bianca Belair, and the two exchange looks as Bianca Belair heads towards the ring. And I'm thinking, oh, that's right. Remember SummerSlam, I think? Or was it the pay-per-view before SummerSlam? Rhea Ripley was supposed to face off against Bianca Belair in a one-on-one match. I think it was a Hell in a Cell, or some kind of match at Hell in a Cell, or whatever it was. And Rhea Ripley had some kind of concussion, mouth, or foot, or whatever problem, injury, that kept her out of the ring until recently. So that match got postponed. Of course, that was in the Vince McMahon era, administration. So will we see will they actually have Rhea Ripley bring up that she was owed a title match and she's here to cash it in? Of course, this will have to take place after War Games, because War Games is coming up, and Bianca Belair is going to be kind of busy. So Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, and Asuka head to the ring. Belair says she's proud to stand here in the ring as the last woman standing, but she says not everything went to plan. She says their issues with Damage Control are far from over and calls them to the ring since they want to start things other places. Damage Control comes out and they head to the ring. Dakota says no one cares that she was the last woman standing, but she hasn't beaten Bayley yet. Actually, she's beaten her 5 times and Bayley's won only twice. How about that? She rubs it in the win over Bliss and Asuka at Crown Jewel. Bliss says that they can't beat her. The only reason they won the match is because Nikki Cross got involved. Asuka and Sky get into a heated exchange in Japanese. Only thing that I know is that Asuka said baka, 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 baka 5 or 6 times to Io Shirai. Anybody with a brain knows baka means stupid. Baka means stupid. So she called her stupid 4 or 5 times, and then Io Sky said bitch, and then they all brawl. They heels run away. Belair grabs the mic and says, "This fight, this is done. This is not over, but you didn't let me finish. This is more than a fight now. This is a war, and this is going to end at War Games." Just then, as soon as she says that, we get Nikki Cross attacking from behind. Damage Control comes back in. They beat down Belair, Bliss, and Asuka. Bayley delivers a rose plant to Belair as Cross fires off several rights on Asuka. Damage Control stands in the ring, and Bayley is there. Says that Belair will see her at War Games. It is official that it's going to be Asuka, Bliss, and Bianca Belair, and 2 more versus Damage Control and Nikki Cross. I do not know if Nikki Cross is actually officially a part of Damage Control, but she is on their team for War Games. Versus Shelton Benjamin, again, another 2-minute match. Belair Theory delivers an elbow, followed by an 8-count down. 1, 2, 3. Who gives a shit? Match didn't last very long. Longest match of the night came up next as Miz heads to the ring. He says that Johnny Gargano's interview was completely false. Complete smear job. He says it's a deep fake and is tired of defending himself to everyone outside of his family. He says, well, not all of my family, because my father believes Johnny. Your father believes everybody but you, Miz. Everyone knows your father isn't a fan of yours. He's a fan of everyone else. But the lining is that his agent's phone hasn't stopped ringing. He says he's met with a Hollywood producer who wants to produce a film that proves his innocence. That should have been a red flag to Miz right away. And informs Gargano he'll be bringing the defamation lawsuit against him. Gargano's music hit and he heads to the ring. He says he's always liked the Miz's father and says he can't start the match without telling the truth about something he did. He's got to blow the whistle on himself. And he says that interview you did, he was hoping I would tell the truth and pay Dexter Loomis, but that didn't happen. And said he realized he needed stronger evidence against him and says he hired someone to do so, and that Hollywood producer says she was a private investigator wearing a hidden camera, and he rolls, and he's like, roll the footage. And it shows, and he somehow has a remote that works on the Tron. It's the Miz admitting to everything that Gargano said in the interview is true, while off the record, he does fast forward through a couple parts, so there's some things that we didn't get to hear. He said he stopped paying Loomis because corporate became too involved, and says the project went under and no one got paid. So, ding dong, hello, Miz is in trouble. Back for break, and this was a long match. This one, I believe this one went like 2 segments, maybe 3. Now, it was a good match. It was fine. Miz has actually been putting in some better work. Of course, he's working with guys like Gargano, and Gargano's a fucking master in the ring. But it's like, okay, so basically what happened was, on the outside, Miz throws Gargano back in, or sends him in the outside of the ring. He gets pulled under. So Miz fakes getting pulled under the ring. He comes back out holding a wrench. The ref's like, what the fuck are you doing with that? What the hell? He's like, dude, there's somebody under there. He's under there. Check. The referee, like an idiot, checks under the ring, giving Miz the time to turn around and crack Gargano over the head, drops the wrench, gets into the ring, 1, 2, 3, and Miz wins the match. Miz is heading up the back, and this is obviously something you shouldn't do, and he should take a page out of Gargano's book of not keeping your back to the ramp, to the stage. Loomis, from behind, cracks him in the chair before security chases him off, and that was that. We got still no answers of all of this, so I don't know what's going on with this. The point is that Loomis never talks, so we can't get any answers from him. Damage goes backstage with Nikki Cross. Kai says that she likes her. And she's just like her and Sky, but they haven't forgotten about her. They invited her to be part of their team at War Games and encouraged her to let out all of her anger tonight. She manically laughs and says it's time for Nikki to play. And laughs while she walks off maniacally. Brooke versus Nikki Cross. This match lasted, and it was for the 24/7 championship, mind you. Lasted for about maybe a minute and a half. Goes in the middle ring, hits the whiplash, 1, 2, 3. She wins. She walks off with. She's just got her. She's just looking forward, has her head in a daze, and she just keeps walking. Bayley gives her the championship. She holds the title on her shoulder, and she walks to the back. We back from break. DLC and Byron Saxon. Styles says it feels great to get payback on Judgment Day, and says who else to get the job done but Yim. Yim says she only showed a sample of what she can do before Gallows and Anderson invite her to get some drinks. Then it's saying it's on Anderson, but she's like, no, guys, no, it's on me. And they're like, yep, let's go. And AJ's like, dude, these guys can go. Yo, these guys can drink a lot. She's like, oh, don't worry, I got this. So you get that big money deal back from WWE, and the very first thing you're going to do is waste it all on Gallows and Anderson drinking. We see backstage still, Damage Control is following Nikki Cross, who is just got this daze. She's walking with the championship. She walks near a trash can. Goes to throw the title in the trash can. It falls away. Bayley looks at it, shrugs her shoulders, and they just walk off as Nikki walks with this daze of she's in a trance. I don't know. It's crazy Nikki. Ringside, Seth Rollins comes out. He says that November marks 10 years anniversary in the company. He thanks the fans for being with him through it all. He says it was for long. It's been far too long since he managed to capture gold, and says he made the United States Championship the title on Raw. He calls his opponent to the ring, and Mustafa Ali appears on the screen, which he knew immediately meant he's not going to be the one getting the match. As Bobby Lashley beats him and says he'll be the one to win the title back, Ali jumps in, but Lashley tosses him in some equipment, accepts the challenge. Seth Rollins looks excited. He looks ready to go. We go to break. We come back. And Lashley jumps Rollins, sends him into the announce desk, and barricade. He tosses him into the ring, but Rollins rolls out, and Lashley charges him, but Rollins manages to hit a super kick. Sends him crashing into the ring steps. Lashley hits a volley drop, and just pretty much beats the living shit out of him. Beats him down so much so that the match never happened. Lashley's heading back up the ramp when Austin Theory walks out, and people are like, what's going on with Austin Theory? Why is he here? So, he heads down with his money in the bank, and we go to break, we come back, and he's like, oh, I'm going to cash this in, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You're cashing in your money in the bank briefcase on the United States Championship. This has never happened before unless you play WWE 2K games or WWE 11 games or THQ WWE games, where you could actually cash in the Money in the Bank on those games on any championship. I'm pretty sure the contract states a world championship, not the United States, not the Intercontinental Championship, a world championship. Cashes in, goes for the win, goes for 8-10 down, goes for pedigree, goes for all this stuff, has Seth Rollins beat. Bobby Lashley pulls the referee out. Gosling says, "What the hell are you doing? You ruined it, you idiot, you stupid idiot." Well, that pissed Lashley off. Lashley picks him out, beats him down, puts him in the hurt lock, leaves him for dead, leaves out the thing. Another referee comes down, gets in the ring, starts counting Austin Theory out, gets the 9. Theory gets into the ring, stomp, 1, 2, 3, and Seth Rollins retains. And they made Austin Theory look like the biggest idiot to ever hold the Money in the Bank briefcase. Oh my god. How do you make somebody look so fucking stupid? Stupid. I'm Austin Theory and I'm stupid. I'm gonna cash in my Money in the Bank on the United States Championship. Wow. I know that he was Vince McMahon's next in line, but he's not Triple H's next in line. I tell you that right now. Holy shit, how to kill a career for a talent in one fell swoop. Austin Theory's done. He's dead. He ain't coming back. He's done. But that was your Monday Night Raw review. It was meh. The sooner they get the WWE title off of Roman Reigns and back on Monday Night Raw, the better. I said it before and I'll say it again. This is real easy to do. Just harken back to Chris Jericho versus Chris Benoit versus, I believe, Kurt Angle for the European and Intercontinental Championship. Two-fall match. You have both titles on the line. You have Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns versus who the fuck ever else you want. Could be Drew McIntyre. Could be Karrion Kross. Doesn't matter. Seth Rollins beats the guy on the first fall, and then Roman Reigns beats the guy on the second fall to keep the Universal Championship. Boom, done. Title's been split again. Roman Reigns goes off to have his 1,000 days as Universal Champion. Because quite honestly, you're almost to 1,000 days. You might as well not have him lose the title till after he goes through his 1,000 days, which will be after WrestleMania. Plain and simple. But that is all your Monday Night Raw review. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video, find me on Minds of the Friends Club, find me on twitch.tv/TheFriends Club, and find me on Instagram at TheFriends Club, and I'll see you guys on Wednesday for AEW. Until then, Minds of the Friends, and I'll see you guys later.